I have goosebumps right now when I say this.
I'm going to get emotional.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Lambton College's School Sessions. This is episode number 3, and I'm really excited to welcome you tonight. Tonight is all about our School of Technology. So you're going to learn from a number of our faculty and a number of our program coordinators, as well as hear from some of our students and graduates. So if you're looking at technology, this is definitely the event to tune into, and you'll get the information that you're looking for, whether you're just starting to explore your programs or maybe you've applied to one of our programs and you're just looking to get any of the information that you might still be looking for the fall. So my name's Sean. I'm the Enrollment Initiatives Coordinator for the college. I'll be walking you through this evening. I'll be introducing you to a number of people and just kind of showcasing all of the things that our School of Technology has. I am in the studio tonight joined with Phil Babby. He is one of our enrollment services professionals, and he is an integral part of our admissions team and really makes sure that everything is all set for everyone from an admissions standpoint. So welcome, Phil.
Thanks, John.
Awesome. So if you want to, first of all, introduce yourself and then tell us what an enrollment services professional does for our students.
For sure. So yeah, my name's Phil Babby, and I'm an enrollment services professional, or ESP, in the registrar's office. And the big thing that we do is we're pretty much your go-to contact for everything in the registrar's office. So every program is going to have their own ESP, and you go to this one person for everything from admissions, registration, financial aid, all the way through to graduation. So it's a pretty unique setup. I don't think any other schools in Ontario have something like this. If it's definitely not many. But yeah, so the idea is you've got this one kind of go-to contact for everything, as opposed to needing to go to a whole bunch of different people for different things.
That's awesome. So you're the first point of contact as soon as the student applies to our technology programs, because that's your portfolio. They'll cross by your desk first. They'll probably obviously connect with our program coordinators and some other people as well. But from an admissions standpoint, you're the one that they go to, right?
Yeah, definitely. Which is really great because you can really build like a relationship with everyone as they work through the program. It's a lot easier if you need any help with something. Like if we've talked before, I'll know kind of your situation and what's going on. So it really makes everything easier for everybody, and it's a great way to connect with students.
That's awesome. So I'm really happy to have you here tonight. I'm sure we'll get into some more tips and tricks and things that students can keep in mind through the admissions process. But to kind of kick things off, another key person that we're going to introduce next is Joel Van Bynen. He's the Associate Dean of our School of Technology and Trade. So he's going to give you an overview in terms of what September looks like and what you can expect in our programming for the fall. So Joel, I'll pass it over to you.
Hey, thanks, Sean. Appreciate that, and welcome everybody. What a great day it is to discover more of what the possibilities are for your future here at Lambton College. I am Joel Van Bynen. I am the Associate Dean of Technology and Trades here at the college, and you'll find me today here. I'm in the steam fitting lab, so there's a little bit of in the background. I'm actually here. This is not just a clever background that you see on Teams or Zoom these days. I'm actually in the shop, and that brings me to the point that's what we do here. We're a technical college. We offer a hands-on experience for students, pandemic or no pandemic. We've been running our labs pretty much as they were designed to be run, and so there's a lot of really intense learning in any of these technical programs that you're going to learn about tonight, and some of that is done or has been done in a hybrid environment, meaning that some of the learning that would occur normally in a classroom has been delivered online. We are really hoping here at Lambton College, we're hoping for the best. We're hoping that the summer turns into a really great period of renewal for folks, and that this pandemic turns itself into a non-starter, a non-event in our world. So we're here at Lambton College, we're hoping for the best and we're planning for the worst. So the worst case scenario is that students that come to our school and our college would have about 40% of their classes delivered in an online format. And we have some pretty advanced technology for online learning these days, and we've been really blessed with a really great staff that has really gone really far to perfect the craft of teaching in an online environment. Just like you're experiencing right now, there's an opportunity for you to interact live with the professors. And like I said, that is sort of the worst case scenario that we're planning for here at Lambton. The best case scenario that we're planning for is a return to full classroom activity, live in person, and hopeful that everyone gets their vaccines and that the numbers go down enough that we can actually plan for that to be delivered in a meaningful way, live and in person. So there is a really great focus on hands-on learning here at Lambton College. As I said, over half of most programs are delivered in person in a lab setting, and there's really great industry professionals leading these labs with great experience and great opportunities for you to learn from in a hands-on environment. So I would urge anybody right now who's sitting with an active offer to actually confirm your offer, reach out and make that connection so that we can ensure your spot. These spots are filling up like crazy, and I think it has a lot to do with the quality of the instruction, quality of the facilities that we have, and the quality of our people, quite frankly. That's what we pride ourselves on here at Lambton College. So please confirm your offer today. Back to you guys in the studio. Thanks, Sean.
Thanks so much, Joel. And again, I think just to emphasize, if you have an offer, consider confirming sooner rather than later, especially in our School of Technology. A lot of these programs that you're going to learn more about tonight, they typically are highly competitive. So if you are lucky enough to have an offer to one of those programs, I encourage you to consider confirming, obviously, if Lambton's the college of choice for you. So I definitely encourage you to do that. And then the only other thing just to highlight from what Joel mentioned is we really are putting a commitment to ensuring that you get the best experience, whether it be in person, online, hybrid, whatever that looks like. Every program will have a unique experience for the fall, but it's all built to make sure you have the best experience. So I just want to make sure everyone's aware that us as a college, we are really considering what the student's experience is, and we want to make sure it's beneficial. Obviously, we have the pandemic that we have to address, and it's changing by the hour, by the day. But we definitely are putting a high emphasis on the student experience. So that's always an important thing for us, and it's always top of mind when we're making these decisions. So anyways, thank you, Joel. And then so next up on our agenda, we're going to start diving into our programs. So first up on the list, we're going to learn from Blair Partington. He looks after our Power Engineering Technology program. It's a really unique program for us. We have a brand new boiler lab in our facility, in our Center of Excellence. So it's an amazing facility. It's a brand new facility, and our students are getting top-notch education within that program and that lab. So Blair, I will let you take it away and tell us all about your program.
Well, Power Engineering Technology has been revamped. We're about to make our first intake of the new PED-N, which is the third class instruction. It used to be well, it's always been 3 years, 3 academic years. Now it's 3 years only. You're going to get a second class certificate rather than just a third. We will give you all the way up to the six second class exams, the TSSA exams. Then we'll give you all the instruction you need for your third. And of course, the fourth class to get you started. Our second intake will start in February, in September for that as well. We've got as Sean pointed out, we've got a first class facility here, according to the TSSA, the best in Ontario. We've got a closed loop steam system, which for those of you who don't know what that is, we take the water, we boil it, we make steam with it, we use it for our users, whatever they may be. We've got a sparger that that turns our feed water tank into a deaerator. We've got a turbine a turbo generator that generates power for our cooling water pump and for the cooling tower as well, the cooling tower fan as well. We've got much more capability than that, but for the moment that's all we've got right now. But there are plans in the future for several different facilities going in. It's going to be a pretty exciting time coming up in the next couple of years. Once we get back to whatever our new normal is going to be, I'm sure you're going to see this facility do nothing but get better and better. That's pretty much all there is to say about the actual program. As far as the TSSA is concerned, eventually we're going to get some movement on exams, on the TSSA exams versus the qualifying experience time. Hopefully that will happen probably in the new year. I'm guessing it's not finalized right now, but they're going to go back to the old system where you can write your exams anytime you want, and your qualifying experience time just continues to gather, and you'll be able to use your qualifying experience time whenever you need it. So with our three different QET, we'll call it QET because that's way easier than we give the 9 months for the 4th class in your first year, and 11 months in the 2nd year, and then 5 more months. The only reason we have less is because we don't have as much lab time. So they're giving us 5-month reduction for the 2nd class, based on the classroom time that you're going to have to go through in order to get your 2nd class ticket. I'd like to take you through and show you a little bit of the facility. It's just down the hall here, but I'm not sure you can hear me. I can't hear anybody talking to me when I go down there. I can take you for a quick walk through, and you can have a look at it and see what's down there. Take you. So this is the entrance. You can see our water tube boiler, and over here is the fire tube boiler. It's been running all day. We've got 2 students in here right now getting qualifying experience time, and the shift engineer getting another month for his 3rd class. They're going to get their 4th class tickets before we're done. You can see it's fairly impressive looking. As far as plants go, it's about as clean as it can be. Well, we don't want to make you think they're all this clean, but this is the kind of thing you would see in most plants. That's about all I have for the Department of Engineering Technology program. Sign up quick. Sign up quick. Spots are running out, and it's a good living.
All right, awesome. I appreciate the impromptu tour of our facilities. I think, like you mentioned, it's a world-class facility. It gives students so much hands-on experience, which is something we pride ourselves on at the college. If students are interested in seeing it a little bit more, we do have a couple tour options. So if you want to get a more in-depth look at some of our labs, we do live campus tours every other Tuesday. So coming up on this coming Tuesday, we have a live campus tour hosted by one of our enrollment advisors, so you can tune in for that. We also have a 360 tour on our website as well. So if people want to get an in-depth look from a 360 camera view, you can go on to our website, www.lambtoncollege.ca, and then you can view it all from there. So thank you, Blair. I appreciate the overview for our PET-C program. Next up is our CPET program. Now, before I introduce you to Tiffany, CPET is one of our flagship programs for technology, School of Technology. It's been around at the college for many years, and it directly supports our local community. The petrochemical industry is one of the largest industries in Sarnia-Lambton, and we definitely partner with a number of employers to make sure our graduates fill the need locally and beyond as well. So it is a long-standing program. It has some pretty big history at the college, and Tiffany is a graduate of the program and now is also coordinating the program as well. So we're happy to have her back in this capacity. And she's going to talk to you a little bit more about what our students are doing in CPET this time.
Hi, Sean and Phil. Thanks for the intro. So yes, as Sean mentioned, my name is Tiffany Majofsky, and I'm the program coordinator for the Chemical Production and Power Engineering Technology program. And I am also a graduate, as you mentioned, from many years ago, and now I'm back teaching and then also coordinating it. So I feel lucky that I get to come back to the place where my career started and give back to the future students. So I'm going to talk about some of the design of the program, and then also I'm not in the shop like Blair was, but I do have some video clips from some of the labs that have run over the last year or so, pre-COVID and post-COVID, and just to give you an introduction to some of the facilities and labs that you'll be using when you start in the fall in the CPET program. And Blair gave us a tour of the boilers, which our students also utilize, and then the shops that I'm going to show you, the PET-C students also take part in those lab facilities as well. So Eric, you can move along on the slides, please. We'll go to the first one. And this is just kind of an overview of what you can find basically when you go to the website, your general information. So 3 academic years with our co-ops that are built in. There's 2 8-month opportunities that you have to be eligible and apply for. We're almost 4 calendar years. So a few months shy of 4 calendar years. With that, we have courses over the 3 years that use a combination of lectures and labs. So as Joel mentioned, we're a very hands-on technology type of school. So we try to incorporate as much hands-on experiential learning as possible. I'm sorry? Oh, I can hear Blair talking. I thought he was asking a question. Okay, that's okay. So for this, Blair's program focuses on the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd class. Ours is only on the 4th class material. That's not to say that you can't progress through, but that we follow along closely with the SOPEC TSSA syllabus for the 4th class material, and we prepare our students to challenge the Part A and the Part B of those examinations. Also with the program, we offer 9 months of STEAM time reduction once students have successfully completed the 3rd term of the program. And then once they get co-ops, they get the remaining 3 months that they require to get the full certification. So Eric, you can move along there, please. Okay, so the next couple slides, we have a few video clips from the labs where our students have been performing over the last few years. So Eric, I don't know if you need me to mute my mic while you play them, or we should be okay. Okay, great. So you can go ahead and play the first one. This is our distillation column that our students will utilize throughout 3 or 4 different terms in the program. And I'm going to mute while. So just to check, I can't hear any sound from my end, but I'm assuming that our potential students can hear that. The next video clip we have is a steam turbine, and this is from the lab that Blair was mentioning with the turbo generator. So you can go ahead and play that one as well. And if the sound isn't working, we can still go ahead and utilize these video clips. And this was before we actually moved the boiler to its new spot. And then the last one is from our advanced process control lab, where the students will kind of go through some of the DCS systems and automation systems that they'll use once they progress to a console operator. So that's just a quick little walkthrough as well. And you can see there's a few 6-foot distillation columns running. So the next one, the first slide here, the swinging the blinds, we've incorporated some mechanical practice courses into our program. This one here is actually during the COVID pandemic time. You can see they're wearing the mask, so you can go ahead and play that. Thank you. we social distance. So they're still getting that hands-on, they're on the tools, they're also kind of tying in that theory to the practical. So this worked really well this year, the smaller class sizes, which is great. Normally we would have 2, 3, 4 people in a small group, and now everything's individual. So it's been great for our students. The next one is from our pipe fitting lab, where we teach our students how to use swedge lock fittings, compression style fittings, and different kind of tubing if they're prepping equipment for maintenance. So this is a skill that they'll need when they're, again, lockout, tag out, preparing things for contractors to come in and do that work. And then the last one is a video clip of our students. We also have lots of theory in the program for pumps, compressors, turbines. So we do have some pumps and different apparatuses that we take apart so we can look at all those components instead of just on a piece of paper. So here they're taking apart a centrifugal pump and they're going to be pulling out the mechanical seal and things like that. So we can progress to the next slide, please. These are just some pictures from a few more of the shops that we use. Maintenance shop, again, where we were just in doing the swinging of the blinds and pressure testing. We also have a simulation studio that the students use the last 3 semesters of the program, where we start with introductory and move up to advanced level simulations that will tie in the theory to the practical hands-on, and again, focusing on that console side of operations and automation. And the last picture there is a centrifugal compressor that our students start up. It was a supercharger from a car, so they get some practical experience with starting up the equipment, and then also going through different theoretical situations such as surging and drawing that correlation between temperature, pressure, and flow rates. So we can progress to the next slide, please. So this one here, it's probably not going to work if the sound isn't functioning, but this was a 2-minute video clip of a virtual lab that was created last March when we first went off. So our students get to start up the 20-foot distillation column. Actually, you can play it while I'm talking here, please, Eric, and then it'll just kind of give you a walkthrough of some of the facilities and the board. So when we went off, we missed out on one of the labs. This was before we could have small groups on campus. So we went through and created a virtual startup of our distillation column for the students to follow along with and still get that exposure to it. I don't know if that's paused or, okay. That's okay, it's not going to be the same without the sound anyway. But it's pretty neat. We were able to go through the whole virtual startup of it. This is me walking back to the console to look at different variables and values that we needed to monitor and putting things in the system. So we can progress to the next slide, please. It's much better with sound, so we'll keep going. You don't want me to narrate all of this. So next, I wanted to capture a few pictures of our students in the shop. The best part of it, even when I was in college, was some of the friendships I made and being in that atmosphere. Hi, Barb. Hi. Okay. That's Barb, and she's going to talk in a few minutes about the pre-technology and trades. We just skipped ahead, Barb. Yeah, I'm just done. Okay. Sure. Yeah. Yes, please. Yeah. Okay. Yes, I was just talking to a faculty that just logged on. So yeah, we can progress through. I just grabbed a couple pictures of our students in the shop. So we can move to the next slide, performing some of the labs. The left one there is a steam turbine identification where they go through all the different components and what they do, what their function is. The other one was a centrifugal pump that we start up and explore cavitation and use a strobe light to see all the internals of it. So we can progress to the next one. Again, these are some more of the hands-on shops, taking things apart, putting them back together. The one on the right was from this term, so social distance, individual students at their stations. We can Advance to the next one. More of the same, different students, different day. Here we go. And then this last one here, you can see the gentleman in the center there. They were pretty excited about this. So we took apart a safety valve, put it back together, and then pop tested it. So we set the pressure it should lift at, and we were successful. So they were pretty excited about that. Next slide. There we go. Online learning. So the last 3 terms, we've adapted to this hybrid delivery of remote and some on-campus labs, and it's been fun. So the students are having a good time with it. Some of them prefer it, but hopefully we're back on campus in the fall. We can progress through. So this is something interesting as well. Over the last, I think it was in 2018, we partnered with Lambton College Fire School. So I think we're one of the only power engineering programs or chemical production and power engineering programs that have incorporated a emergency response component into the program. So they go out to our actual fire school and do extinguisher training, different classes of fire, different classes of extinguishing medium, and they get that early on emergency response training. So there is a video clip there too, you can play it. I don't know how well, there's obviously no sound, but these are actual students out on the fire grounds practicing their extinguisher skills. And then the next slide, which is much better with the sound. And this is a magnesium fire demonstration. So you can go ahead and play that, please, Eric. Oh. And this is just to show them what happens with if you use an improper extinguishing medium on the wrong type of fire. So this was a Class D metal magnesium, then they were using water on it, which isn't the proper extinguishing medium, and it has quite a reaction. All right, we can progress through, please. More students, more fun. They were pretty excited about that. Continue on. It was a great time. They really enjoyed that. And so some of the student supports that we've implemented pre and post COVID. So tutoring has always been available to our students. We have more of it now for different courses. It is free. We always tell our students early on, if you're struggling, to reach out to our tutoring center. They're there to help. That's why they're there. Virtual study halls. So we've created these study halls for our power engineering students to get together with their classmates and tutors that are specifically for that program, and they meet and go through different content concerns that they're having and things like that. Peer tutoring, so our TSSA exams that our students are going through and challenging, it can be hard for especially the first year students that haven't written one and knowing what's coming their way. So we've started to incorporate graduates and final year students, or ones that have completed their higher level tickets, to tutor the ones that are coming in. And then if you are a current student who's helping to tutor, that counts as a co-curricular record. And then, as some are aware, we have TSSA exam testing offered on site. The last 2 years, we've been able to offer that, and the students have been receiving that well. They don't have to drive out of town or schedule it during class times. We offered them during the evenings and weekends. And then the last few slides are some of our faculty that teach in the program, some of the great faculty that you'll meet. Next slide. And then I think the last slide, these are the links. You guys know where to go, the website, to get any more information. And that's it.
Awesome. Thanks, Tiffany. Really appreciate that. I think there's a lot of innovative things that you're doing, especially at the fire school, and really, again, keeping the student experience at a number one and always a priority. So that is always something that we're looking for. So I think the other piece that we have some of our graduates joining us from our CPET program. So why don't we dive into the graduate panel? So Tiffany, I don't know if you want to introduce, I believe we have John and Taylor on the line tonight. So if you want to go ahead and introduce the grads, and we can dive into their experience, and they can fill us in terms of what they did during their CPET program.
So I see John there, and Taylor's also online as well. with us as well? Okay. Hi, John.
Hello. Well, I know Taylor was actually at work today and she's rushing home from work to get on this, so I feel like she might make a final second appearance. But anyways, in the meantime, my name's John, John Ryan. I actually started in the CPET program in the fall of 2016. That means I graduated last May in 2020, right at the onset of the pandemic. Prior to entering CPET, I had tried my hand at a university. After 1 year, I kind of found that sort of learning wasn't for me. Obviously, like not a lot of hands-on, a lot of students kind of being in one lecture, one class. It just wasn't really my type of learning. After that, dropping out of university, I took on a role as a pipe fitter. I was able to go out west. I was actually involved in the building of oil and gas facilities, which was super interesting. But obviously, being away from home for so long, having to fly out, things of that nature, I just, it's not right for your family life. You can't do that forever, right? So I found the CPET program to be a great way to continue learning and progressing in my field, to do something that's challenging and rewarding, like going out to a different province and building oil plants, and also being able to kind of balance that work with like your family life, and like to have time for yourself, vacation time, so you can travel when you're allowed to travel and go do stuff like that. For the CPET program itself, I was involved with applied research while I was doing the program. A lot of the stuff that Tiffany showed with those big labs and stuff, research is also involved with those, where they'll actually come in with third-party companies and they'll go through projects that they have. And they have students employed. I know that the C-Lab program is a big part of that now, because that's a new program that's kind of designed for that. But CPET is kind of something that's part of that as well. Also, during my co-op terms, I did them both at Suncor Energy. Suncor is a great company. I did both my 8-month co-op terms there, and the schooling I received from Lambton really helped me prepare for that. And then after school, just recently, I was able to be involved with the commissioning of a pilot plant for a bioenergy company, Woodland Biofuels, here in Sarnia, at the big research and innovation facility on Woodland Road there, the Dow Western facility, which was awesome. And again, like we'll go into it a little further here, but CPET, huge help for that job there, and that big project.
Great, thank you, John. And I do see that Taylor's online now. Hi, Taylor. Good, yourself? Okay, you can't see Taylor at all. So I just got word that Taylor, I can hear you, but I don't think the others are able to hear you at this time. Is that correct, Eric? Okay. Okay, yeah, sure. Okay, so Taylor, unfortunately, they're not able to pick you up from their end. So I'm going to move over to John and ask a few of the questions regarding your time in the program. Okay, so you already kind of went into why you chose Lambton, but is there anything else that you'd like to add to that?
From the onset, nothing that I knew kind of going in. I will say that my mom really wanted me to do it, so that always helps. Good to have a family push. It is a very well-known program here in town, so my mom knew that would be something that was really good for me. So always good to listen to your mother sometimes.
And was there any favorite parts of the program, courses, or anything that really stands out to you?
Yeah, so I came in right when you were showing it. I think the labs are a big thing that the CPET program offers, that in terms of like preparing you for work, there's nothing better than getting to do those labs. The simulations are incredible. And I'll say, since the new wing of the college has come online, and I know you and the other faculty have been working really hard at it, those labs have been and continue to get better, even since I've done them in my first couple of years. Like that fire school, I didn't get to do that, right? And that's an incredible thing for the students to get to do.
Absolutely. That's great. Thank you. I see Taylor's back in, but I'm not sure. Still can't see her on your end, Eric. We're troubleshooting on the fly. Okay. John, I'll ask you one more question then. What advice do you have for students that are going to be starting this fall in the CPET program?
Yeah, so I think a big thing for the students is definitely focus on what you've kind of learned going in. If you're an experienced worker and you haven't been to school in a while like me, I really kind of knew a lot of the stuff that had to do with having a job, being like a good solid employee. So I knew a lot of that stuff. A lot of the things like math, chemistry, and physics. I'm sure Barb can attest to this as she's going to talk about the pre-technology stuff. It's really difficult if you haven't done it in a long time. So you really have to put a big chunk of focus towards that. I know I did, and Tiffany mentioned the tutoring and stuff, like seek help if you need it. I know at the beginning, like I had to work in groups with a lot of people to get used to the level of math and physics that we were doing, because I hadn't done it since like grade 11, right? And at the end of it, I was one of those people who's now like tutoring people doing their fourth class tests and stuff like that. So you can go from, asking for help and needing help to one of those people that can now help others, right? Which is a very big step, and lots of people are capable of doing that for sure.
That's great. Thanks, John. And I guess we have time for one more question, and that's how did the CPET program prepare you for your career in process operations?
Yeah, so I think being an operator, which is essentially like working in a manufacturing facility, whether that be like a power facility. I worked at a refinery, right, a bioenergy facility, something that's brand new. People work here at say Nova, a plastic manufacturing facility, or Lanxeo, rubber manufacturing facility. What those three things kind of all have in common is that the majority of them will be looking for you to have your TSSA tickets. You'll want to, most importantly, be focusing on the work experience and training you'll be getting from those companies. And you need school as a building block for kind of all three of those things. I think the school does an excellent job of preparing you for your TSSA exams. I had my fourth class ticket halfway through school. Some people are working on their third class tickets as they're graduating school, and even for upwards to second and first class, it does definitely prepare students for that, and it gives them the tools to kind of build upon and work towards something like that. I think another thing is it does a great job of building a foundation for your work experience. Getting to do the labs is, aside from actually going to one of these plants, is the closest thing you will get to what the day-to-day life of an operator is like. Getting to do the simulations and being essentially on a control board, as you were showing there, getting to take apart pumps, getting to run distillation columns, like these are things you're going to be doing in your day-to-day. They're not 300 feet high in the school, but that's as close as you're going to get to actually getting to a tower that's 300 feet high and operating it like you would be on a day-to-day basis, right? And I think just the last thing is the co-op program. CPET doesn't just kind of like give you a foot in the door, like it kind of just blows the whole door open for you, which is excellent. Those 16 months on co-op are incredibly great for preparing you for a full-time role. And they're totally excellent for sure. And a lot of programs don't offer something like that, a perfect way to kind of set you up for a job in the future.
That's awesome. Thanks, John. And thanks so much for participating, taking time out of your busy schedule to come back to the college and speak to our students that'll be starting in the fall. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
And I don't think Taylor was able to successfully get in there. So I guess that kind of concludes our graduation panel.
Awesome. Thank you, Tiffany, and thank you, John, for your overview and your insight. We always love to connect with our graduates and our students just to really get the insight in terms of what they're doing, what their experiences, and ultimately seeing them achieve their career goal. That's obviously one of our biggest missions at the college. We want to make sure our graduates are successful in the career paths that they choose for themselves. So next up on the list is our pre-technology programs. So a pre-technology program is a preparatory program. So maybe you're sitting here, you're looking at some options, but maybe you're not entirely sure which program you want to take, or maybe you need to upgrade some skills or just get ready to take on the 3-year CPET or the power engineering program, that type of thing. We do have a pre-technology program that it could be a fit for you. So Barb Dobson is the coordinator of our pre-technology program, and she's going to talk to you a little bit about what pre-tech is all about and if it's a right fit for you. So Barb, I see you're joining us from your lab, so I will let you take it away.
Joining you from our beautiful brand new chemistry labs here at Lambton College. And as was said, I am the coordinator of the Pre-Tech Trades and Technology program, but I also am a chemistry faculty member here at Lambton College. And I do want to talk to you about this program. It might not be one that catches your eye right away, or you think, absolutely, this is what I want to do. But I want to tell you why you might want to think about it. Can we have my slide? Thank you. So the name of the course is Pre-Trades and Technology. This is a very short program, but it's small but mighty. The preparation that you'll get from this program, if you need it, will be highly vital to you. So the introductory paragraph on our program information is designed to assist those who are interested in a technical career, but you haven't maybe yet decided which one you want to take, or you might lack the necessary prerequisites for the program that you want to get in, and you need to pick them up prior to gaining admissions into that program. So that's kind of the basic who fits this, but it would fit anybody who not only lacks prerequisites, maybe they've been out of school for a little while and forget all that high school chemistry that they took, or high school math. And I'm glad you mentioned those courses, John, because those courses are difficult courses for students. They tend to have higher failure rates in our technology program. And you will get the preparation that you need to be successful in those later programs by doing this. So yes, it's 8 months, a little more time studying, a little more investment in time and money, but this program has shown time and time again through our follow-up studies to lead students to later success, and that's so important. So throughout the Pre-Trades and Technology program, which is just 2 terms, you will get introduced to different careers and programs. If you're not sure which one you want to take, we do have a course specifically designed to walk you through a number of the programs that we have here, what that job is like on a day-to-day basis, what your income level might be, some of the challenges, some of the interesting things. You'll get introduced to all of those through a course designed specifically to help you investigate careers and help decide what you'd like to do. You'll get guidance as you go through the pre-tech program without jumping into your program right away. You'll get a year to get used to learning at college level, which is really important. You'll also get guidance through the instructors that you have as you go through this program, through your fellow students, through the guidance counselors that we have in the college. So you'll learn and you will grow as you work through this 8 months. That third bullet point there, increased academic preparedness, is huge. This is the big advantage to this short program. We have shown time and time again, year in, year out, that the students that are successful in this program are successful in their later programs. And that's so valuable to students. That is the most valuable thing. So when you do go to that later program, it could be the 2 that you've looked at already tonight, power engineering technology or chemical production engineering technology. Those are 2 big programs that a lot of students are really interested in. But maybe they're not quite there in terms of academic preparedness. This program will get you there. The other big advantage, we have designed our course list so you can enter in the fall and get the full 2 terms. You can also enter this program in the winter term through a one-term Board of Governors certificates. Next slide, please. So you get a competitive advantage in future programs through that academic preparedness that I spoke to earlier. In order to get those co-ops that are so valuable, for example, as you go, if you choose the chemical production engineering technology program or another program that has a co-op, you have to make the grades to be sufficiently to be co-op eligible. You are more likely to get there with this preparatory program. You will establish those connections, as I mentioned, but also through meeting other students, get into study groups, which are so vital and important to academic success. You will learn how to study at college level, and sometimes it's nice to do that at a preparatory level before you get into that program that matters so much. You'll learn those work habits, those study habits it's different learning here than it is in high school. The other thing that we've brought into the program recently that's a really huge advantage is you can start earning some advanced credits towards your later program. I'll go through that in an upcoming slide. And as I mentioned before, this is a really good opportunity to have a little more time and a little more preparation and a little more access to learning about careers to help choose the best career for you. Next slide. So I have included the course list because you might be thinking, well, what would you take in a preparatory program? You're taking, to a large extent, those courses that will help prepare you academically. So you're going to take a math course in both terms. Math is, John mentioned it as a student, I was so glad to hear this. Math is so important. The skills that you learn in math are so important to so many courses, not just math courses when you get into your destination program, but so many of the operating engineering study courses or electricity courses and so on require math skills. So we have put a math course in both terms, but you're going to be really, really ready for those math courses when you encounter them later, or those courses in which math skills are required, and there's lots of them that fall into that category. You'll also take a safety tools and materials course, that career exploration course that I mentioned earlier, and you get a chance to take a general education course, which can be really a course of your choice. And then you will select one of those 5 courses listed there, and these are all those courses that I was mentioning earlier that can give you an advanced credit towards a diploma program later on. There's 2 advantages to that. You get that program taken off the list if you go into that program where it's required, so it lessens your course load when you get into your next program. And also it gives you a chance to explore content in that program itself and see, well, maybe I'd like to keep going in this, maybe I wouldn't. Can we have the next slide? So the term 2 courses are the winter courses. And again, as I mentioned earlier, you can jump in at this point to this program. And you'll see there's a lot of emphasis on those academic courses. John mentioned physics and math and chemistry. You see here you take math again. You take a fundamental physics course, an introductory type physics course, and you can have the option to take biology or chemistry, which are required courses in some of the later courses, and excellent preparation. The other course that's in there that we put in, it was like that job search course that was in term 1, that student success and life skills course. Those courses were both developed specifically for the pre-trades and technology program. And this is a really, really great course for developing you as a person in your life skills habits and student success habits. So this will really, really benefit you moving forward as well. So it is another year, but it's going to get you really, really ready to be successful as you move on. Next slide. And we're just seeing here, these are just examples of the programs that you can go into when you finish the pre-trades and technology program. And by the way, you will also get 10 bonus points for your admission towards any of these programs by finishing the pre-trades and technology program. Put another way, if you had a 65 average in pre-trades and technology, you would have a 75 average going into the competition to go into that later program. And these are just some of the examples of the technology programs that you could go into. 2 of them you've already seen tonight. And on the right, some of the examples of the trades programs that you can go in after completion of this program. So I hope you'll consider it, especially if you have doubts about where you want to go, or you feel that you would really benefit from more academic preparedness. I can guarantee you'll get it by taking this program. Any questions? Or I guess I don't get questions for students necessarily.
That was great. Thanks, Barb. I appreciate it. Again, I think pre-technology is a little bit of an unknown program for us, but I think it, as you mentioned, it has so many benefits. It really does prepare students for our longer term programs and really sets the foundation. So I appreciate you giving the overview, and a really good point as well. If anybody does have any questions for anybody that you're hearing from tonight, feel free to post them in the chat box of YouTube, and we will go ahead and take those throughout the evening. Myself, Phil, or anybody else on the call will do our best to answer those questions for you. So before we go into the next program, I want to dive a little bit more into the application process. So obviously, as we mentioned, Phil works in the admissions office and the admissions team. So Phil, I don't know if you want to give out an overview in terms of what steps the students have to take when they complete their college application.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. One thing I think I want to talk about quickly beforehand too. So we're going to talk about all these different steps in the admissions process. But one thing that can kind of cause some confusion that I think I want to bring up first is whether you apply, say, like first thing in October, or whether you apply like right at the last minute in August, everyone goes through the same process. The difference is if you apply early, some of those steps are date driven and they don't start happening until a certain point in the year. So if you apply like first thing in October, we can't start sending acceptances till February. So even if you have everything you need to get into the program, you might still spend some time kind of waiting for that date to come up. Whereas someone who applies after February, if they meet the requirements for the program, can get that acceptance right away. So that's where things can look a little bit different. Like sometimes we'll get questions like, I have all the requirements, why haven't I got an offer yet? That's why. But at the end of the day, everyone does go through all these steps still. Just could be different timelines.
And I always tell people to apply by February 1st. That's kind of like always the golden date, if
Yeah.
you will, for college admissions. So February 1st typically is where you would apply. I know there's a few changes happening this year with OCAS, and that will all be communicated. But definitely make sure you apply by the date for your best chance, especially a lot of these programs are competitive, right?
For sure. So fun fact, if you apply by February 1st, if the program is oversubscribed and highly competitive and there's a limited number of seats, you're ranked based on your grades. So everyone who meets the requirements is ranked based on their grades, and offers are sent out by average. Whereas if you apply after February 1st and that program is highly competitive and there's a wait list, it's first come, first serve. So there really is for sure a benefit to applying by the deadline, because that's your best chance to get a seat.
Yeah, absolutely. So after somebody applies, you guys do your review in-house and you make sure they meet the admission requirement, their averages are good. So then ultimately you'll send them an offer.
Yep.
Awesome.
True story. Yeah, we will. So actually, just to kind of go back from the very beginning, just in case anyone hasn't applied yet, the first step is go to Ontario Colleges, look up Lambton, find your program, and apply. And if you haven't applied yet, another thing I want to mention is anything you do at Ontario Colleges, whether it's like adding a program to your application or changing a program, it takes a day for it to get to us. And then any changes we make on our end, like say if you send us a transcript directly, it takes a day for that to get to Ontario Colleges. So just a heads up. A lot of people wonder if there's like a delay. That's why. So the first thing you do is apply. And we will tell you if you're missing any requirements. We'll reach out and we'll let you know. Typically, you'll get sort of a generic email plus your ESP for your program. We'll reach out to you too to work with you if you have any trouble getting a hold of a transcript or if you're not exactly sure what's missing. And then once you met the requirements, you'll get an acceptance, which will show up at Ontario Colleges. And once you accept your acceptance, that's a confirmation. And the reason I wanted to bring that up is these different statuses, whether you've applied, been accepted, confirmed, etc. Those different statuses will trigger certain communications. So if you haven't confirmed your offer, you're not going to get, say, a reminder that the deposit is due soon, something like that. So that's why it is really key to, apply right away. Once you've chosen your program, confirm your offer right away, because that'll trigger a lot of important stuff that's going to come your way. And then the other big thing to kind of get ready for the start of class is there's a point where you'll switch from being an applicant to a student, which is a pretty crucial one. Same thing, that new student status is going to start making sure you're picked up for all of our reminders to students, like, say for like picking electives or your tuition fees, those kind of things. And the big thing when you're converted to a student is, just lost my train of thought there. The big thing when you're converted to a student, the way you can tell that is when your fees are available on MyLambton. And that's kind of happening right now. I believe it's supposed to launch for everybody later this month. So if you've confirmed your offer, sometime in the next week or two, you should get an email notification saying your fees are available, and that's how you know that you've been converted to a student, which is what is really going to get the ball rolling for everything to get you started for class in September.
That's awesome. And I think just mentioning fees, one thing I do want to just mention for everyone viewing tonight, we are doing a giveaway. So my office, we are going to be giving out tuition for anybody that attends the school session events or ultimately confirms their offer by May 31st. So if you have an active offer, highly encourage you to confirm it by May 31st because you could potentially get your first year's tuition on us, which is a huge cost savings. So definitely, if you have an offer, consider doing that before the end of May. So I think I really appreciate you giving the overview of the admissions process because for a lot of students, it's really daunting. There's so many pieces to the puzzle and all that stuff, right? But I think having an ESP makes all the difference because the student knows they can go to you for questions, whether it be at the admission stage or ultimately at the graduation stages, right? Right.
Yeah.
So it's like it's so nice to have one person that the student can connect with.
Oh, for sure. Especially too, if anyone say is like returning to school and hasn't been in a long time, even that touch point of like, hey, like what do I do next? Or like what's the overall process going to look like? Even that kind of high level overview, just so someone can understand sort of like where they are and what to expect. It's not always easy to find everything like that online. So it's, if you've got that person to talk to if you ever need.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's awesome. The other thing I think we can touch on right now is a little bit more about the financial aid side of things, because obviously people are looking at how they're going to finance their future or fund their educational journey. So obviously there's OSAP, there's scholarships and bursaries, and there's a lot of ways to help students finance their education. So I don't know if you want to give an overview on what that looks like.
Yeah, for sure. If we need to go into more detail, let me know. I'll keep it kind of high level to start. So yeah, the first one by far is OSAP. Definitely apply. In case you're not familiar with OSAP, most people get a mix of a loan, plus they'll get free money from the government grant. It's a mix of the two. So that can really help you pay for school, knowing that you're not going to have to pay all of that money back afterwards. Just a quick plug, OSAP applications are supposed to launch, I believe, in about a week.
Nice.
But sometime, I'd say within the next 2 weeks. So keep an eye on your email. We'll send you an email when the applications do go live. So yeah, then there's a couple other things I wanted to mention too for sure. One is scholarships and bursaries. In case you're not familiar with those, scholarships are typically more competitive and they're based usually on your academics or sometimes your extracurricular activity, whereas bursaries tend to be less competitive and they're more based on financial need. Definitely apply to both. We'll send you some notification emails about some of them that are available, but what I'd really recommend is two things. Go onto My Lambton, go to the scholarships and bursaries page, and one, you can choose your program and see scholarships that are just open to your program. The other thing I'd recommend, though, is take a browse through the ones that are available to all programs. Sometimes there are some kind of oddball ones that have fairly unique requirements that don't get a lot of applications. So you could, there are some that, you never know what might fit you, and you might be the only person even that applies. So it's definitely worth checking those out. And the last thing I want to mention, this is a little early for it, but there are also student employment opportunities. There's two of them. There's one which is work study, and the other one's called EBAT, which is employment between academic terms. The work study is basically a part-time job at the college during school around your classes. EBAT is a summer job, which is full-time. But that's a really great way to kind of, especially if you're in a program, say like office admin, and you can get a job working in an office at the college, it's a really great way to get some relevant experience and make some extra money.
Well, and I know I've had the opportunity to hire and supervise EBAT and work study students in my office, and I think it gives obviously the student the financial benefit, but it also gives the student the experience as well, right?
For sure.
It's nice to work with the work study student, and I know you work with work studies and EBATs all the time as well, to give them the experience, to put that on their resume. Often references for students well beyond once they leave our office. So it's really cool to give that experience for our current students as well. It just adds to the experience. So I appreciate giving that overview. It's again, EBAT and work study is kind of one of those unknown things that the college offers, but it definitely provides so many benefits for sure.
Yeah, we'll send out emails about it, but I think, if you're really busy, you might miss it. But it's one of those things where I think more people need to know about it. And plus, honestly, it's a great foot in the door. Like I think 4 or 5 or 6 people in the registrar's office started as students.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it supports on so many levels. So I appreciate the admissions overview, the financial aid overview. As you mentioned, everything's on our website. So if you're not taking notes tonight, don't worry. Everything is online. You can go get the updates that you need. You can also connect. Our ESP contacts are on the website too, so you can just select the program that you're enrolling into. Again, if you're looking at anything in our School of Technology, Phil's your guy. But if you're outside of the School of Technology, just select the program, and then you'll understand who your ESP is, and you can send them an email and ask any of the questions that you might have from an admissions standpoint. So that was a really great overview. I appreciate that. Continuing on to our program search and our program journey tonight. Next up on the list, we have an overview from Erin Sater. She looks after two of our programs, so our environmental technician as well as our workplace safety and prevention program. Two relatively new programs to the college. So I'm excited for her to talk to you a little bit more about what both of those programs are doing, and I know she has some graduates and some students joining her this evening as well. So Erin, take it away.
Thanks, Sean. Welcome, everybody. Hopefully you're at home, staying safe and watching and getting excited to come to Lambton in the fall. So as Sean mentioned, I am program coordinator of two incredible programs here at the college, our workplace safety prevention program, as well as our environmental technician drinking water operations program. So I'm going to start today and talk to you a little bit about our first program, the workplace safety prevention program. So if Eric, you can throw up the slides, perfect. All right, so let's get started. So workplace safety prevention program. I mean, if the last year and a half has taught us anything, it is that health and safety is absolutely paramount and so incredibly important. And if your company didn't previously have any type of management system, health and safety policies or practices in place, they absolutely do now. And it's only going to increase. So this is a fantastic field and there are a lot of incredible opportunities for students. So I want to tell you a little bit about some of the major program details. It is a 2-year program. That means there are 4 academic terms that you will take a mixture of both theory as well as lab classes. One of the best parts of this program is that it has what we call a field placement, which means it is optional, but it gives you an incredible opportunity to connect to an industry partner or a particular company that you're interested in. And what we love so much about the field placement and with health and safety really is that it is general in the sense that students can come in with a passion for working in healthcare. They can come in with a passion for wanting to work construction or in the oil and gas industry, because really health and safety is everywhere and in every program, every company, doesn't matter where you are, what product you're producing, health and safety is there. So the field placement is a great opportunity for you to investigate and explore some of those different industries. I have students who have gone and worked for retail manufacturers. I have students who are working construction. I have students who are working in mining. So we have students who kind of go in all sorts of different directions and learn about health and safety in those real life situations. There is a wide range of curriculum within the program. A big focus is on mitigating and managing workplace hazards, which again, over the last year and a half has changed so significantly. I was at a conference just the other day for Canadian safety professionals across Canada, and one of the main topics of conversation was how COVID has really shaped and changed our modern workplaces and how health and safety has really played such an important role in that particular field. So what we have that's really great in our program as well is that we are actually partnered with 2 other excellent colleges across Ontario, Cambrian College up in Sudbury and Seneca College in Toronto, to share delivery of some of our major occupational health and safety courses. And this is a really unique opportunity for you to connect with students from across the province and professors as well from across the province who bring different unique situations. In Sudbury, there's a huge mining community. And so we have some great professors who, talk a lot about health and safety in the mining, in the oil and gas sector, as well as students who are working in those fields. And it's a great opportunity to connect, like I said, with students from all over the province and hear about needs and demands from those different communities. So during those courses, they will be held virtually using the Microsoft Teams platform. And I myself teach in the program, so it's I've been so happy to see the students connect, and I've seen messages from students saying, I loved meeting so-and-so from Seneca and so-and-so from Cambrian, and we're going to meet up actually one day. The contacts that you can create across the province are huge. The lectures that we deliver within the program are usually delivered in a hybrid format with our partner colleges, so using the Microsoft Teams platform. As well, we do have the ability to hold many of our on-campus labs actually on campus. We have been able to continue that in a safe, very safe environment. Students will be coming onto campus to complete labs in their bio courses, their chem courses, and in your final term, you're going to take a 2-part course on industrial hygiene and toxicology, where you have a theory portion, as well as spending 14 weeks every week coming in doing in-depth industrial hygiene and tox labs. So hopefully, again, in the fall, we'll be fortunate that we will be able to come in here and use our beautiful facilities. So next, I want to share with you a little bit about some of the requirements to actually get into the program, as well as the different types of curriculum. So with most college level programs, we do require grade 12 English, as well as in this program, we specifically ask for either grade 11 or 12 biology or chemistry. If you have both, even better. You know, I know they're not always the fan favorites, but it does become really important as you progress through the course. You make the connections between, you know, health and safety in the workplace, and whether it's the chemicals that you're using, how they impact your body, biological systems. So that bio and chem courses become really, really important. The curriculum is great because we start off learning very basic in our first semester with our bios, our chems, English, which is really important for communication, right? And you get into health and wellness, ergonomics, risk management with me, accident prevention and investigation, operational safety, employment law, industrial hygiene and toxicology. And for anybody in health and safety, you probably recognize that beautiful little green book, who I will tell my students to call their best friend for the first semester, because they will become intimately acquainted with that book and they will know it from start to finish, believe it or not. It is in every single job site company across Ontario, the Occupational Health and Safety Act and regulations, and you will, like I said, it's a fundamental that you will learn starting in the very first semester. So just moving on, I previously mentioned that we do have a field placement, and it's one of the things that, you know, students love, is the opportunity to really gain some work experience. And like I said, I don't want you to come in thinking, you know, I have to go work in construction, I have to work health and safety, because, or sorry, oil and gas, because like I said, you know, health and safety is universal. It's in every company, every organization. So these are just a sampling of some of the companies that do support our students in field placements. You see some big names up there like Nova Chemicals, CF Industries, Bird Construction, and we have many, many more. So, you know, you're not pigeonholed into one thing. And if you have, you know, you're interested in a particular company, you know, bring it to us and we'll see if we can help make that connection and get you a spot with that company. You know, we find, like I said, most companies now are more than willing to bring students on and have them immersed in their culture and really teach them about the safety culture of those different companies. So we're really proud to have so many companies that support our program. Another really fantastic part about our program, for those of you who don't know, you might see those little logos up there, is that we are affiliated with the Canadian Registered Safety Professionals, and that is huge. Okay, what that means is that the graduates of our program meet the academic requirements that are set out by the Board of Canadian Registered Safety Professionals to write that CRSP exam once you've received the actual 4 years work experience. But what's also really incredible is that very recently the BCRSP came out with their CRST, which is the Canadian Registered Safety Technician, up there in the right-hand corner. And that means that once you've completed our program, you are immediately eligible to write the CRST and gain that designation, which is huge. You know, I said I was at a conference the other day with the BCRSP, and they actually said that the number of CRSTs is very quickly outnumbering the number of CRSPs. It's a really awesome, fantastic designation that can get you ahead in the workplace. And, you know, our curriculum really gears you towards writing that exam. I've had many graduates write that exam very successfully, and they're out there in the workplace right now. So, you know, and the other really excellent thing is that all of our courses within the program, we have specifically mapped to BCRSP outcomes. So you know that what you're covering in your classes is directly linked to what is going to be on that BCR or CRSP or CRST exam. So just moving on, just to give you a sampling of some of the different job opportunities. And, you know, I always encourage a student when they're interested in a particular field, you know, go online, do some research, find the different avenues that you are interested in. You know, health and safety is so big. Sometimes it can seem daunting of like, what are the work titles? And, you know, sometimes, especially with health and safety, they can be a bit broad. You see here some of the examples, you know, health and safety technician, health and safety coordinator, safety specialist. You know, each company has kind of their own name for what they call their health and safety people. But at the end of the day, you know, they're all taking care of the health and safety and environment of their company and their community. So just to kind of end off, I have a wonderful student who's going to talk to you in a minute, but I do also have another student. She wasn't able to be here today, but I really wanted to share her story with you. She was a student who graduated from our program last year at the end of COVID, and she right now was hired immediately upon graduation by a local company very well known called Sims Limited, and she very kindly for me shared a day in her life. You know, what does she do? Right? So this is a little bit about Carly, who recently graduated from our program. So she is part of the corporate health and safety team, which is responsible for creating and maintaining the health and safety systems that the field teams on projects can utilize. I know she's been working with NOVA a lot, actually. Her main role consists of working with their behavior-based observation system. She's responsible for daily program reporting on stats and at-risk items. She also uses data from the VBO programs to track, analyze, and report on progression towards annual health and safety targets, which is huge. She works with audits with companies. She helps to create program improvements to support the field teams that are out there. She participates and supports training development, reporting, online training platform support. She helps in policy development and review and supporting audits for a lot of the big companies. So she's got a very big job. And you know, she was so lucky. She, as I said, she started our program a couple of years ago. She finished last spring and immediately was hired by Sims. And this is her kind of day in the life. So I know she couldn't be here with us today, but Carly, if you are watching, thank you. And we are all so very proud of you for what you are doing. But to bring it back, to have a graduate actually speak a little bit about her experience in the program, I'd love to welcome Taylor today. I see she's on. So hi, Taylor. Thank you so much for coming virtually today. And if you wouldn't mind sharing a little bit about your experience in our program.
Hi, Erin. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'd love to get started on that and what this program has meant to me and what it's done for me, because just to start, like when I was applying to college, I had no idea what safety was. And then I accidentally stumbled upon it, to be honest, because I was working out in the field doing administrative things, and I was working alongside the health and safety rep, and I ended up falling in love with the idea of making sure that everyone gets home safe every night, because, you know, you don't know what people have at home, and they have families and all of that, and it's so important. But once I did apply and get in and started, like Erin said, it's a really great program. I can't stress that enough. You start in your first semester just learning the basics of what health and safety is, because it's really not talked about unless you're within the industry. And you slowly grow into your last semester, and by the end, you, like Erin said, you're ready to either get out in the work field or write that CRSP and get started on your journey. But yeah, to get into what I experienced in my 2 years, I mean, I had great professors, and like Erin said, we bridge between 2 other colleges. So not only am I getting specialty from people from Sarnia working in safety who work in the industrial industry, but also those from Cambrian who are in mining. And so that's so broad, and it gives you such an insight on exactly what all the different things that you could be dealing with. And that's exactly what health and safety is. It ranges so far, and you never, I don't feel like you'll ever get bored in it. And like I said, I really enjoy the diversity. So not only is it very specific to theory safety, it also gives you, you know, we have an ethics course where you learn all the psychology of how people are making decisions in the workplace and how to make those tough calls and how to say in respectful ways that things can't be done or things can be done, or how can we move around this, because a lot of the time safety is the person that says, I'm sorry, we can't do that. And there has to be a way of how to get that out respectfully and how to have a respectful workplace. Moving on. And then, like I said, that theory safety, obviously that's super important. That's the big chunk of what you're going to deal with. And the assignments are very practical, and even now I'm working out in the field. I mean, I'm not specifically in health and safety right this second, but I still deal with health and safety every day anyways as the employee. And so when I was in school, I would write those policies. Now I'm signing those policies as the worker, and I'm reading them over and I'm seeing why they're so important. Yeah, so sorry, I just lost my train of thought there, but it is really a great program, and health and safety is always growing. I mean, that's if you can learn anything from this year and a half with COVID, it's that safety is so important, and it's so new in a way, and also just always growing. And yeah, that's about what I have to say. It was a great program, and I had great professors, and Erin's obviously great, as you can tell from this live stream, but she's just as helpful, if not more helpful, when you're within the program. So thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Taylor. I really appreciate your time and what you have to say.
Okay, thanks for that overview, Erin and Taylor. Appreciate it. I know we're having a little bit of technical troubles with where Erin is right now in our water lab. So for right now, we'll continue along the program journey tonight. So next up, we're going to learn about our instrumentation program. Another key flagship or cornerstone programs of the college. We see a lot of students enroll into this program year over year. So Chris Richardson looks after the program for us, and he is going to share with you what is happening with our instrumentation students right now.
Hi there, Sean. Thanks for the introduction. Yeah, as Sean mentioned, the Instrumentation and Control Engineering Technology program has been at Lambton College for many, many years. It's one of the longest running programs at Lambton College. I have a couple slides that I'd like to go over. Instrumentation is not like the stuff you see here in the background here at my garage. Instrumentation are devices that are used in everyday life. Examples would be your furnace in your house, right? That measures the temperature. That's an instrument that's measuring something. And then the furnace is the device that heats up your house. Another perfect example of instrumentation would be something that your cruise control in your car. So your speedometer indicates how fast you're driving, and the cruise control set point is what makes the car speed up or slow down. So I would echo what Erin did. Oh, yeah, sorry there. How's that? Is that a little better? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, no problem there, Eric. Yeah. So yeah, as Erin was speaking, safety is critical to instrumentation and process control of a process. So what instrumentation does, as I was mentioning, it is a method of measuring and controlling devices. So ISET stands for Instrumentation and Control Engineering Technology. So Eric, if you could go to the next slide. I'm going to highlight some of the labs, actually the labs that Lambton College has. There's been a multi-million-dollar upgrade of the facility. All of the labs are state-of-the-art. We have fantastic equipment. The program was originally created by folks from industry locally. We have massive support from local and remote industries. The oil and gas companies, certainly Ontario Power Generation, Bruce Power. The interesting thing about instrumentation is that you can work in any field. So instrumentation is used in hospitals, anything that you can measure and you want to control. The production of oxygen or hydrogen or peanut butter or any other process that you can think of. If there is instrumentation, well, there is instrumentation in every single one of those aspects. So as you can see here, this is our introductory instrumentation lab, you can see the little devices there. There's a tank, there's junction boxes, there's different devices, and those are used to measure level, temperature, pressure, and flows. And in this situation, all the theory will be online. The lab classes will all be on ground in the Center of Excellence, which is the completely renovated lab space. So this is the introductory level instrumentation lab. So Eric, can you go to the next slide there, please? This is another shot. That device that's in the center of the bench, it's a multimeter, and it measures voltage, resistance, current. Students get hands-on experience wiring up junction boxes. Really all the necessary skills that a tradesperson would require out in industry. And this would actually be a good point in time to mention. If you get enrolled into an apprenticeship and you graduate from the Instrumentation and Controlled Engineering Technology program, you will be exempt from the Red Seal Ministry credentials, basically. So if you were enrolled in an apprenticeship, you would have to go to school for 3 different times to meet the exemptions to get a government certificate called your Red Seal Instrumentation Control Technician. And the license number is 447. If you graduate from the instrumentation program, you're exempt from all that schooling, which is attractive to employers because they don't have to incur that cost of sending you away to school. So it's these types of skills, these hands-on wiring and practical lab assessments that have been implemented in the instrumentation program. So we'll continue. What you see here are some discrete devices. So the previous slide, we would fill up the tank and we'd measure the level in the tank and control the level using different devices. What you see here is discrete devices, so on and off. The black device there that's vertical, that's a pressure switch. And that would be used on everyday devices, say like an air compressor. The motor turns on, it compresses the air inside the tank, and when it reaches a certain pressure, a device activates like that pressure switch, which shuts the motor off. That's an example of a measurement and a control strategy. So this is all hands-on wiring, calibration, monitoring, and configuring with the instrumentation program. And all of these devices are used out in industry. So locally, certainly in the petrochemical industry, instrumentation, we boil crude oil, and from that crude oil, we get tons of different products. So we're basically boiling crude oil to get gasoline and diesel, fuel, naphtha, all these different products. And these types of devices, these on-off devices and analog or modulating devices give us those signals. Could we have the next one there, please, Eric? This screen that you're looking at right here is a pneumatic control valve. And as you can see, they're quite large. And this is what's used to basically change or regulate the flow of a liquid through a process stream. And these are called pneumatic control valves. These are industry quality control valves that are used. You will see these at Ontario Power Generation, Imperial Oils, Nova, Sun, Shell, wherever you may wind up. And the good news about instrumentation is that, as I mentioned, it's used all over the province, certainly out west, anywhere there's manufacturing and process. Students calibrate these valves and learn about the theoretical as well as the practical components of them. Next one there, please, Eric. Got quite a few. So going back to the car example where you have the speedometer and the speedometer is telling you how fast you're going. Well, the computer system in the car controls how much the motor revs or revs up, accelerates or decelerates. Well, in this particular lab, this control loop tuning lab, we have what are called controllers, which do the same type of thing. We set, instead of setting the speed at which a car is traveling, we set the level or the pressure or the temperature of the process that we're trying to control. And then this controller automatically does manipulates a pneumatic valve or something like that to keep that process at that level. Okay, next slide there, please, Eric. We can have cascaded loops. So one controller that sets another controller's set point. So two controllers working together. This is the intermediate instrumentation lab, and students build and configure from scratch all of these different control apparatuses. Next slide, please. There. This is an example of our flow measurement lab. So there are many different ways to measure flow, and depending on the application, whether it be steam or gas or water, we may use different pieces of instrumentation. So students are exposed to all of these different pieces of instrumentation. Next one there, please, Eric. Yes, and that's just another snapshot of the flow lab. Okay, so hopefully you folks can see that there. What we have is two completely glass binary distillation columns. So students actually program these process control computers that take all the measurements of these pressures and flows and temperatures. They bring it into one main control system, and students program these and run these distillation columns, which is the same process that happens locally in the Chemical Valley. But not only does instrumentation apply to this scenario, if you can do these types of functions on distillation columns, you can apply them to any other type of process. Next slide, please. There, yes. And there's another shot of the facilities and the upgrades that we have. We've had massive industry support to build these labs. We have advanced computers. What these computers are called is distributed control systems, and they're worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. We've had very generous donations from companies like ABB, Honeywell, Delta V. Again, all computer systems that are used locally. So Nova uses ABB control systems. So students learn on the exact equipment that they will see out in the field. Have the next slide, please. Yep, and there's another shot. In the left-hand side of that screen, you can see that big cabinet, and that is those are the ABB distributed control systems that control these different plant operations. Again, another picture of the ABB, Emerson, Honeywell, Foxborough distributed control system places. The nice thing about having, I guess, there isn't really anything nice about this situation, but if there is one positive about it from the lab space goes, is that every student now has their own station. And in the past, you would be partnered up. So now students actually have the opportunity to really dig in and gain the knowledge on the individual systems. It's fantastic as far as the lab situations are concerned. Okay, also gas chromatography. This is widely used in many different industries. This is used for measuring the composition and quality of any substance. So locally in the petrochemical industries, these analyzers could be used to measure the quality of gasoline or the quality of the diesel fuel. Or if you were in a hospital type environment, it could measure the quality of the oxygen, right? The different compositions of different products. This is a highly sought after trade and is widely used throughout industry. Next slide, please there, Eric. Again, another picture of the stations. These analyzers, that's what process gas chromatographs are. They analyze the composition of different components. These are industry quality used throughout the local industries and throughout the provinces. Again, another picture of a new lab that's been created there, a Sparger unit. So, and that's basically a sampling system. We also have a 20-foot distillation column that students operate and configure graphics for as well. Again, just some of the incredible equipment here that we have at Lambton College. Refrigeration control system troubleshooting. Again, a widely used skill set. Locally, again, and remotely as well. If you had to compress, say, propane or something like that, a gas, into a liquid form, refrigeration systems are used to cool that gas down till it gets to that liquid phase. So This is all a part and parcel in the instrumentation program, troubleshooting and really understanding these different concepts. We cannot forget motors and generators. There's a ton of electrical fundamentals, inductors, capacitors, thyristors, all these interesting electronic components and how these components work together. We have 12 lab volt or Festo stations, which is incredible, that have tons of different modules and replicate real life applications on a student friendly level. So these stations are bulletproof. They function very well, and these are very high quality lab stations, again in the center of excellence. Again, another view as well. So variable VFDs are variable frequency drives and power protection. The cabinet that's on the right hand side is protection and control, so electrical protection and control of generators, transformers, feeder cables, all these different electrical devices as well. We also have state-of-the-art PLCs and robotics. So we have Allen Bradley programmable logic controllers. Again, another process control computer that's still measuring all these different variables, such pressure, level, temperature, flow, position, whatever that may be. We have Fanuc robots that the students create different activities. So I think one group of students, they played poker with these robots, and the other group of students, they had chess games or spelt out words and things like that, or I think one played a song on a guitar. So there's some pretty interesting labs and certainly challenging labs as well.
And there we have it. That's the ISET overview. Thank you so much, Chris. I really appreciate your time tonight and your insight into what's happening inside of your program.
Yes, thanks. Thanks for having me, gents. Take care.
So next up, we're going to be coming back to Erin. She's currently live streaming from our water lab, which is perfectly suited for the next program you're going to learn about, which is our environmental technician, water and wastewater systems. So Erin will bring you back up to the screen, and you can talk to us about the second program that you look after for the college.
Great, thank you, Sean. Sorry, guys, just had a little bit of technical issues there previously, but I'm back. So at least I got through the one program. So now onto my other little baby is the environmental technician program, and another program that I am so incredibly proud to coordinate. Right now, especially, I'm seeing all of our students go out into the working world and get those jobs that they're looking for, and I'm so proud of our students. Again, the two programs that I'm invested in have so much so much impact on daily lives, from health and safety, but also to giving us the clean and safe drinking water that, we all rely on every single day. I want you to think about that the next time that you go, to turn your tap on to get a drink of water, or use that water for cooking, right? It comes from, you're rest assured that that water is safe and clean for you and your family. And that's what our students are here to do, is to gain the knowledge to go off and work in these facilities that support that for us. So, really don't take that for granted, because I certainly don't. So I want to start off telling you a little bit about the program. It's a really unique program for a couple of different reasons. Number one, it's an accelerated program, meaning that we take 4 academic terms and compress them into 3. What that does is it allows us to give you more opportunities and time to get those co-op placements, which is really significant in terms of gaining the hours that you need to upgrade different levels of certifications in the water industry. So we have 3 semesters of lectures that are a mixture of theory courses as well as lots of different hands-on activities right here live in our lab. We also, another interesting program in that we partner with another college, Northern College, which is located way up north in Ontario, Kirkland Lake. And again, these partnerships are so special because it allows us to really utilize expertise from other places in our country or in our province, and really gain an understanding of some of the challenges faced by more rural locations in terms of accessing and treating both water as well as wastewater. So Northern College is our official partner for this course. Students Obviously, COVID has definitely impacted the student experience, but we've done our best to make sure that, we still give you, great opportunities, as many as we can. And that's why we are excited to have you and host you on campus to do those physical labs. So we do try to get you out under normal circumstances as well onto as many field trips as we can to visit water as well as wastewater facilities. So lectures are a mixture, again, of both virtual and hybrid delivery. Some of the content that is being delivered in the program from Northern College will be delivered via the Microsoft Teams platform. And another exciting detail that we've added to our program very recently is the addition of what is called Hydromantis simulation software. And it is such a fantastic sim software because it gives you so many different parameters to play around with to really look at different situations that can happen without actually doing any damage to a system. So, we have the use of the Hydromantis simulation software that's making a big impact on our students as well. So moving on, I want to share a little bit about some of the requirements and, again, curriculum that's involved in the program. So some of the different courses and curriculum you take, obviously we take the generic English and chemistry and physics courses, but those are really important because the fundamentals of being able to communicate effectively in the workplace is more and more prevalent all the time. Students start off in their very first semester taking a couple of core courses around soil and air monitoring and sampling, water monitoring and sampling, wastewater collection and treatment, GIS, which if anybody knows what that stands for, is Geographic Information Systems, which is becoming more and more important as well. Students also take courses in plant design and operations, water quality analysis, environmental regs and legs, and wastewater treatment design and operations. So in addition to the curriculum, as I mentioned, there are 3 different potential co-op opportunities, a total of 12 months, which is very significant. The other really strong feature of the program is that we have a couple of Ministry of the Environment, and one of their branches is the OWWCO. This is the program with 100 different acronyms that you will learn all of them by the end of the time you're here, but the Ontario Water and Wastewater Certification Office is the government branch that certifies all drinking water and wastewater operators across the province. And so we actually have an affiliation partnership with them to deliver the content required for students to take their OIT, or Operator in Training course, right within our program. And then I have a relationship with the ministry that allows me to actually administer that OIT exam right here at our college campus. So you're not having to go out and sign up for one of the big government tests at an alternative location. You're getting it all right here at Lambton College. That certificate allows you to go and legally work in a drinking water or wastewater operated facility in Ontario. So in combination with that certificate, as well as 12 months of co-op experience, students then have the potential to upgrade that certification to a Class 1 operator status. If you know anything about the water and wastewater field or you're interested, it's all about continuing to learn and continuing to stay on top of your certification, your training, and upgrade those classes as you gain more experience. So, what's really fantastic, as I said, is we're building those very fundamental training tickets right into our program, and you're getting them right here at Lambton College rather than having to go out and take them from another or at another location. So continuing on, just wanted to show you a few kind of photos of our students in action. As I mentioned, I'm here in our water and wastewater lab, our dedicated facility in our new Center of Excellence, which is beautiful. And I hope that in September you're here to see it. You can see some students in those photos working, obviously, during COVID, because they're working at individual stations with their masks on, but working on some pumps. And you can see there on the far right, they're working with some of our jar testing machines. So, we are very fortunate that we have such a beautiful facility, as well as mostly brand new high-tech equipment. We're just actually in the process of purchasing some more items for next fall. So you have the best of the best equipment right here at the college. So continuing on, just to give you a little bit of idea of some of the different job opportunities, because the program can seem very vague when you come in terms of, do I want to go water? Do I want to go wastewater? Do I want to go more compliance into the regulation field? So there are lots of different job opportunities in all the different areas. I have a student right now who actually just finished and graduated from the program, and she's working in the wastewater facility at Suncor. I have another student who's going to speak to you later today who's working more in compliance with a local company. So we've got lots of different opportunities across the board. The demand for clean, safe drinking water is never going to go away, right? I want you to, like I said, I always tell my students to think about that every single time you go to the tap. That is so important, and it really hits home the important role that these operators have to play in our daily lives. So, the demand and the need for clean water is never going to go away. It's only going to continue to grow. Right? In Ontario, anyone performing operational duties in a regulated drinking water facility or wastewater facility is required to hold the valid OIT certificate or license to perform their duties. So again, we're building that curriculum right into our program, so you take those certifications here with us. So this is some of the different examples for job opportunities. Could be moving out and going into either a water or wastewater systems operator, an environmental technician, sewage plant operators, process supervisors, lab technicians. There are so many different avenues within the water and wastewater field, and so much opportunity to grow as well. So moving on, with any industry and when you come to the college, I know it's always hard to choose what program and where you want to go. I really encourage research and thinking about, well, what are the daily duties of an operator? What might I be doing? And so some of the different examples could be regulating water quality and production, using analytical and flow monitoring equipment to make sure that you are in compliance with all of the different regulations and legislation set out by the government. You might be drawing samples for testing. You might be recording readings from instruments, analyzing those readings and making necessary adjustments to different pieces of equipment, which is something that you learn very well in using the Hydromantis software. You can understand the addition or subtraction of different chemicals and how that can play a big role in the output of your water. Troubleshooting and making adjustments to pumping systems. Our students take a pumps and motors course. They take some CPET operating engineering courses as well, so that you're coming out fully qualified to whether you want to work in the data compliance area, whether you want to be more hands-on and work with those pumps and work with those motors. A lot of rural locations have only one or two operators, and you really do need to be kind of a jack of all trades. So that's what we aim to help you become, is really be fluent in all of those different areas of the job. You might also be preparing reports, maintaining logs, working with SCADA equipment and other monitoring systems. So just continuing on, just to share a little bit more about the work environment, and that's actually what two of our students are going to talk a little bit about today, is their examples and their experience in different work environments, whether it's in the field, inspecting operations, collecting samples, or maybe working in the office as well. Obviously COVID has changed the way some of the operations have to take place, but there is always the need and demand for people who are going to be on the ground, going out and taking those samples and readings and working in our water and wastewater facilities. So again, I'm very big on research, and I'm really encouraging our all the students to take some time looking at, what really entails the job. And this is just a sample job listing that I was able to pull offline very recently. And like I said, really do some research and check out all the different opportunities that there are. And what I find so very interesting is when I read these different job listings is what they're looking for is exactly what we're teaching in our program. Right? We're looking for somebody who can, understand the regulations, the laws, understand drinking water management systems, understand different plant operations, working with pumps and motors on a daily basis. So, go out there and research some of those different jobs. So I have just the last few slides. I'm not going to go through them too much. They're more of just general interest in terms of, treating water and treating wastewater. And if you are really interested in this field, I really, reach out to me at any time and we can connect and I can share some of these documents with you. But, like I said, when you go to the tap every day and you take your shower, you flush your toilet, it doesn't matter. You're utilizing water in your everyday life. Really understand the process it's taken to get to your tap. Right? Treating water is so incredibly important to make sure that we're all staying safe and healthy. So what I want to do now, as I said, the last few slides are really just about the whole process, but I know that you want to hear from our students. So, and I can see that the light is really getting to me, so I'm just going to move a little bit, and I am live with a couple of my students here. Sorry, guys. So I'm going to introduce them to you. I'm going to step away and put my mask on and let them come up and chat with you. The first student that I want to introduce you to is one of our wonderful graduate students. His name is Meet Patel, and he's going to share his experience with you. So welcome, Meet, to the virtual program.
Thank you, Erin. Good evening. Today, I'll share some of my experiences and thoughts at Lambton College, and probably more specifically in this program. First of all, I wanted to say I'm really grateful to be present here, and thank you for accepting and inviting me. So, starting with my experience at Lambton College. So, I really find that the experience that I had was more than what I expected. So the classrooms, facilities, computer labs, the hands-on instrumentation labs, all were kind of well designed. I would say they were really focused on, dedicated for learning. Secondly, I'll talk more specifically about my experience in the program. Starting with the course. The course is well designed, it's appropriate, it's well structured. Obviously, there were modifications due to COVID. There was all virtual delivery. We were doing labs on ground, but it all worked out fine. We had a wide curriculum, had courses ranging from water and wastewater, health and safety, environment, laws and regulations, and other technical courses related to technical writing and technology and computer skills, computer literacy, that kind of all essential employability skills. So the courses were overall, they're very well designed. I would like to talk more about the labs. So the labs were designed with practicality, I would say. They were designed to, actually make us learn new techniques. So when I say this, I don't think anyone in my program would disagree. We actually learned new techniques. We learned to think analytically, and I would say that is a great part of the program. The labs actually were delivered on ground, but we had proper social distancing measures and other stuff. But it was a actually great addition to all the theory that we have studied during the program. Moving on to the teachers, the teaching staff is well experienced. They are very enthusiastic. My program coordinator, Erin, she's very supportive. The other staff members, they are also very supportive. Anytime we had any problems, they would work together with us to solve all those problems, and get us moving, actually make us study. So I would say my overall experience has been pretty great. The thing that caught my attention is never ever, in my 2 years at Lambton College, I've heard a staff member saying something demotivating to any of the students at the college. So that's pretty awesome, and it's really great for me. Never to forget my fellow classmates. They've helped each other during the 2 year of the process of learning, and I'm really fortunate, to take this program, meet all the teaching faculties, and I'll make connections with my coordinator, with my program classmates. If I would have to, I would probably advise 3 things to future students. First is do your research and recognize why you want to take this program. And after you've taken this program, always focus on studying hard. Second thing is always try to respect your classmates, your teaching faculty, coordinator, your staff members. So it's all about respect. Always respect college policies. And the third is always enjoy learning. So that would probably conclude my experience, and I'd like to say thank you.
Thank you so very much, Meet. We're so proud of you. We have one other student who's here today, and I'm incredibly proud of her to see the evolution of her over the past 2 years. So I'd love you to please welcome Ashley Nickerson to talk about her experience in the environmental tech program.
Hello. I'm not a good public speaker. I'll just start off by saying that. My name is Ashley, and Aaron has graciously asked me to be a part of this graduate panel today. So thank you for this opportunity to talk about my experience with the environmental technician program at Lambton College. I actually stumbled upon this program a little bit by chance. I was recently, at that time, interested in the environmental field and had taken the pre-health program to become a nurse, but I was waitlisted. So I decided to go through with the environmental technician program, and I have been pleasantly surprised since the first semester. As Meet said before, the program is very well thought out. There's lots of hands-on experience, and the knowledge you gain, nobody can take that away from you. And the professors here are always so supportive of you. You know, if you're going through a hard time, I know for me, I had some really, moments where I struggled, and I didn't know if I would finish the program, but with the support of, Aaron and all of my professors, and using the resources that Lambton College had here, it really helped me get me through those hard times. So if I could give any advice, I would say use the resources that are available to you. And, if you need to, the professors are always a shoulder to lean on if you need it. I don't have a speech planned, but I'd really like to talk about the hands-on experience as well. I think the labs are a great part of this program. They really immerse you into the experience of what you might be working in after you graduate. So it gives you this perspective of, opportunities that may be waiting for you when you graduate. I know that being a part of the instrumentation labs was a huge step for me, because I had never worked with pumps or motors. I really was a very new student in that kind of aspect. I knew nothing, and I've come out of it knowing so much. And you come out of this program in such a well-rounded individual, and I've seen myself, like, when I first started in this program, I was so shy and unsure of myself. I had very little confidence, but this program and, the students that I've been lucky enough to have beside me, and of course, Erin and her support, and all my teachers, they're really there for you, and they give you those building blocks and confidence that you want and you need for going out into the real world. I was fortunate enough to land a co-op position at a company called Clearford. And so I work in the compliance department we manage over 200 sites in Ontario. And I didn't think that I would be working an office job when I first entered into this program. I'm more of a hands-on person. I like to get out and, use my hands and fix things. I'm like a tinkerer. But I've learned so much in this co-op position with compliance and, the regulation side. And really, it's given me a perspective on due diligence as an operator. You find what's really important, why things are the way they are, why there are rules and regulations. And you correlate your knowledge that you learn with the chemistry and the biology, and it correlates into the regulations as well. Like, it's all interconnected. And you know, you really find your own path going through the program. I didn't know if I would make it through, but you know, I'm graduated now, and thank God for that. But it's been a really great experience, and it's a bittersweet goodbye, but I don't think that I'll ever be really gone from Lambton. I think it'll always be part of my life. So thank you again for having me. Yeah.
Well, that was absolutely incredible, and I am so proud of my students. And you know, if you're out there watching and you're interested in the program, please reach out, connect with me, and I'm happy to meet and chat with you anytime. And I really hope to see some of you next September. So thank you for listening.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Erin, and thank you for bringing those graduates and those students on the line tonight. I really appreciate learning from them, hearing from them, learning about their experience. It makes all the difference. So thank you so much for that. And then last but not least on our program, we have one last program we're going to learn about today. So without further delay or ado, I will introduce you to Chuck Ewert, who looks after our chemical laboratory technology program. So Chuck, the floor is yours.
Good, thank you very much. So I'd just like to thank everybody for participating and attending today's event. To Sean and Phil, thank you for hosting. And then to the host in the chat behind the scenes there, Eric Brown. Eric, thank you for that. And the other thing I just wanted to thank is all of the previous people that have spoken, the deans, the coordinators, and the students. Hopefully what's come across here is that regardless of what program you're interested in or what you like to do, Lambton College has something for you, and a great experience awaits where regardless of whatever program you choose or whatever coordinator you end up talking to, reach out to any of us. We're more than welcome to help students find the program or talk to our recruitment team to find the program that works for you. So yeah, chemical laboratory technology. It's really all about working with your hands and working with chemistry and working in the lab. So most, if not all of our courses are lab-based. So I'm just moving my computer here because I'm not centered in the screen. Hold on a second. There we go. Yeah, so as you've heard, my name is Chuck Ewert. I am the coordinator of the Chemical Lab Technology program. This is a 3-year Co-op Ontario College Advanced Diploma. And this co-op term is May to August between terms 4 and 5. So you do spend 4 full-time terms learning the basics of chemical lab technology, working in the lab, working in chemistry and math and things like that. It's a hands-on program. It provides you with foundational courses in chemistry, math, and especially laboratory and analytical techniques. And in addition to the co-op term, what is really unique about this program is the term 6. So that would be your 3rd year, your last winter term of this program is unique. And the students satisfy their learning outcomes by working on an actual applied research project. So with our research department. So you learn how to apply lab skills, how to apply lab analyses, and then how to communicate and disseminate that information between and amongst different programs and processes in that specific term 6. So that is a very unique program. We're very excited about that. And we're very excited to be partnered with our fantastic applied research department as well. Next slide, please. So academic chemistry labs. So we're very fortunate here at Lambton College. The academic chemistry labs just went through a recent renovation. There's 2 brand new state-of-the-art chemistry lab spaces. And we also have, and you've seen some of those labs already in the analyzer labs, but we also have the ability to work in the research labs, and I'll get to those in a moment. So you learn how to manage chemical processes. You complement your theory with practical hands-on experience, and you also learn skills that are foundational to many different programs, many different job opportunities, working in Chemical Valley, working in the plants, working in food, working in cannabis, natural health products, plastics, polymers, all those fields, anywhere that these things are being done, a lab is there. And you learn those skills to work in those labs, to do the quality assurance and control, if that's how you feel, to work on applied research, to apply on actual research, whatever you're interested in, we provide you with the skills to hopefully satisfy that for you. Next slide, please. I don't know, hopefully the slide goes next. I don't have control here. Yeah, so on my screen it says academic chemistry labs. So am I seeing it? Yep. So yeah, no worries. Nope, but if you tell me what's there, I can talk it. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, and then the other part, all I was meaning to say is that we have academic chemistry labs and we have research chemistry labs as well. So regardless, so I wanted to show a virtual tour, and I'm not so sure it's going to work here. So if you click to the next slide, you might be able to see the actual virtual tour. We can try clicking on this and see how it works. You know, that's the thing that we've learned with COVID and technology. Sometimes you just got to try and see how it works. And go from there. So troubleshooting and all those kinds of things. So I'm not sure how it's going to work here. Yeah, great. Okay. Yeah, I can see it. So are you able to click on that screen, Eric? Yeah. And in the bottom link corner there, do you see something that says Explore 3D Space? There you go. Yeah, and you can just kind of see. So if you just move to the left a little bit, you'll kind of see there's the virtual tour of our chemistry labs. And you can just move around the space a little bit, yeah, and then move back to the right. Yeah. So we have two labs that are essentially the same on either side. So right behind that other building, right in that other side of that room is another chemistry lab. So that's our virtual chemistry space, recently updated, brand new, state of the art. And there you can see the different lab spaces. So all the different fume hoods, stations, there's stations for all students. So all students get to work individually and practice the techniques and learn it, and by working and doing it themselves. Excellent. Right on. We're also very fortunate to have access to the research labs. And here are fantastic, one of the best research colleges and research departments in Canada, if not the world. We have fantastic research labs with many different projects ranging from a whole bunch of different fields, biochemicals, agriculture, waste, biotech, all those kinds of things. So next slide, let's go look at some stuff. Enough of me talking. All right, so here's the virtual tour of the research lab. Let's see how this goes. This is a fantastic space in the Center of Excellence. So I don't know, let's see how this goes. Yeah, no worries. I'm going to wrap up on the next slide anyway. So I do thank everyone for their patience today. So I'm going to go now. Right on. Yep. So you can see it's a fantastic large space. And Eric, if you don't mind just looking around, we've got gas chromatographs, we've got IR spectrophotometers, we've got fume hoods, we've got GCs, we've got all kinds of different things with a fantastic research department, updated equipment, fantastic staff, fantastic faculty. That's great, Eric. Yeah, so like echoing the rest of my colleagues, if you're interested, please contact our recruiting department or reach out to the individual coordinator with any questions that you may have. So next slide, please. And I'll just say thank you very much. And you know what? Thank you everybody for your attention, and thanks everybody for behind the scenes here putting everything on. I'll say thank you very much. Stay safe, everyone, and have a great rest of the evening. Thank you very much.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Chuck. I appreciate your overview and the virtual tour. Really cool to see the labs that our students utilize. So that kind of brings us to the end of the program exploration piece. So I think Phil, one last thing I want to get your insight on is what would you say are your top 5 tips for students as they prepare for school in the fall?
For sure. I hope I can remember them all. So I'm going to keep this pretty short and sweet. If anyone wants to know any more like specifics about any of these, you can actually just shoot me an email at phil.babby@lambtoncollege.ca, and I'm happy to talk your ear off. So the first thing I think incoming students should know about is check your email. We send tons of important stuff, like either like reminders for deadlines, upcoming events, things like field placement. We send reminders for all of these. It's all available on My Lambton, but that kind of push email reminder is really helpful. And kind of a footnote there, check your spam inbox, because tons of times stuff goes to spam and no one knows why. So always keep an eye on your spam inbox too. The second thing I want to talk about is, on the topic of My Lambton, is check out My Lambton. So if you're an applicant and not a student, so if you can't see your tuition fees yet, you probably won't have full access to My Lambton. But once you see your fees, you can get on there. Just take some time and poke around. All of the registration information's there. Stuff about field placement, co-ops, but even stuff like student life and student services. Pretty much everything possible lives on My Lambton. So before class starts, take some time to kind of take a look around, get to know it, get a feel for it, find out where stuff is. The third thing I want to mention is take a look at your program map. And same thing, your program map's on My Lambton, but if you can't get on My Lambton, go to lambtoncollege.ca, find your program page under the program list, and you can see the courses coming up. The reason I mention that is because lots of times we'll get questions like, how do I know when to pick my electives? And you can look at your whole program and see what's going to be coming down the pipe, just so you know what to expect. Like, you might not have to pick an elective until your second year, and you can find that out right away looking at your map. Same thing about the program maps. If you've gone to another school previously, you might be eligible for transfer credits or advanced standing. So you can look at the courses you're going to have to take, and maybe you've taken something like that before, and you can look into a transfer credit. The next thing I want to mention would be, I just completely lost it. Upcoming events. So you can find those. Some of them are on lambtoncollege.ca, but most of them are on My Lambton. When you log in, one of the default options on the homepage should be the calendar, and you can see all the events coming up. There's stuff like whether it's something like an open house or an info session, or maybe orientation week, or even some student events after you've started school. That stuff's all going to be there. So take a look and see what's coming, and make a note of anything that you think might be interesting. And the last thing I want to mention is student life. That's a really big one for sure. Most of the student life events are run by the student council, and the easiest way to check out what they've got is to go to their Facebook page. It's called Lambton College SAC, S-A-C, for Student Administrative Council. And obviously, like literally everything right now, pretty much everything they're doing is online. But still, especially these days, I think that kind of stuff matters more than ever. Just getting some time to take a rest, do a trivia night, and take a break from school, stuff like that. They do a ton of cool stuff. Like, they have stuff on Facebook pretty much every night. And so that's a really great way to get involved, meet some people, and just kind of take a break from all the stuff you have to do throughout the day.
Perfect. Well, there we have it. Phil's top 5 tips.
Oh, yeah.
I appreciate you joining me this evening. And I also obviously want to thank everyone that joined us remotely. I think we got a lot of great information about our technology programs. I know I always learn more about our programs in these types of events, so it's always interesting. Once again, thank you all for joining us this evening. We do hope that it was beneficial. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. Go to our website. You can contact us, contact anybody that you saw tonight to get any additional questions answered that you might have. So again, thanks so much, and we hope to see you at the next episode of our school sessions with the School of Health next Tuesday.